got here. Okay. Or,
That's not what you want to hear from your acting captain.
or did you? We're in the works.
Screw up on my end.
Wobbly, porcupine.
Sorry. So for those of you who are yeah, my past self was there we go. Yeah, my past self was a little bit of an idiot and had turned off the thingamabob and had messed up the other thing because of completely unrelated reasons that I hadn't thought to check for. So I had it all set up, and then it turned out I had it all screwed up. So there's that. Um, so yeah, the you guys are awesome. Just say that. And this is why it really helps to have people in chat, is because they can tell you when things are going wrong. Um, but okay.
Great.
So, but yeah, you tell the acting captain, Brother Helmshoel, Brother Helmshoel, because he's probably never got enough of a rank, but probably styles himself as Brother Helmshoel anyway, because he's uh, very religious. Um, if I recall correctly. Um, um, uh, but, and if he wasn't, he is now. So, that's fair. But yeah, just yes. So he is actually. They probably could have put Adepta Genre in charge, but um, in any case, the but his isn't even one of the ones they put through because of reasons. Okay. Oh, all right. We're gonna have to find his. I'll have to find his sheet later if it comes to that. In the meantime, yes, you guys are. I should have put Adepta Genre in charge, but in terms, yeah, the not Adepta, her mother, but uh, yeah, you guys are okay. So yeah, he tells you, "Are you sure it's orcs?"
Yes.
All right. Emperor bless their souls. Okay. Why did she have to put me in charge for orcs? Okay. Um.
I'm sending a message to the other guys. Guys, our commander's brother seems very inexperienced at battlefield command, and he's kind of suggesting that we might do a boarding party.
Well, that
I'm
sounds
kind of,
like a terrible idea.
I know. That's what I told him.
If it's orcs, I don't think orcs have Geller fields. That would be incredibly dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and that's, or I am warning you guys because he is still the captain, and we'll have to do what he says. But
Um. All right. Yeah. Mostly because the DM is has not ship to ship combat is can be kind of boring. I've had players say, but if you guys want to go for it, We do have there are weapons on the
No.
ship. In fact,
Well,
um,
I'll let the guys who shoot the turrets or whatever do their job. I mean, that's not us. We're
yeah, okay. Let's see. Um,
Yeah, just let us keep us informed if you need us for something. We're on standby.
okay. Well, yeah. Let's see. You have a sun spear laser battery, Mars pattern macro cannons. Okay, you have cargo hold. You don't need that. Don't need that. Voidsman quarters, which are for your guys. You have life start. Okay, life. The armor powered combat bridge might be helpful. And the void shield array. So you do have void shield, and a warp spain hull actually. And those are the engines and the drives and the the teleportarium, which is a whole thing that you have that is highly valuable. Enchanting, you would know, is actually a holy relic from before the Dark Age of technology, and is kind of why the Adeptus Mechanicus is always eager to put people on this ship, which is why you have so many tech priests on board. Fun fact.
Hey, Jantine,
Yes.
why? Something that I've been curious about in our travels. Why do we have so many tech priests on the ship?
Redundancy is very important,
I think.
You're not wrong.
but we also have redundancy for redundancy. So, in case one of the redundancies fails,
The Adeptus Mechanicus Department of Redundancy Department.
absolutely.
You know what?
Okay, well, that makes
That
sense.
is always keep backups. That is a very true story.
Off topic. My dad was a pilot, so like redundancy is something I know. It's so important.
It is, especially if you're in a vehicle that cannot just get more supplies very easily because you're in a weird place, either in the sky or
There you go.
in the warp, which is But yeah. But yeah, you guys do have they're gonna start up the macro cannons, I guess. You could roll for ship to ship combat was not something I was I mean, I guess it would be very silly of you to actually as characters to want to go on a raiding party. As players,
There's nothing about that ship that we want or need.
yeah, okay. Let me go. Yep, that's the go to R, which is Rogue Trader, and I will bring up. I think. Let's see. I don't know if there's. How about I feel like I should at least let you. It seems sort of anticlimactic just to kind of let the. Happen.
Hey, it's not about us. It's about the team.
Yeah, there's fair. You are not surprised, in fact, because strategic rounds last half an hour. Handle similar to normal combat. Space travel is normally handled in narrative time because you're just kind of moving along. Standard turns. However, certain situations, ship warfare is slightly different from close and personal fighting and hand-to-hand combat. Chasing down opponents in hours, maneuvering into position for devastating volleys from broadsides. Therefore, the game should break up space combat into strategic rounds and strategic turns. While these functions mechanically in the same fashion as rounds. Okay, this is how we want to do space combat. All right. Okay. The captain of each ship. Since does one of you want to take on the role of commanding the ship's defenses? You don't have to.
Not particularly.
The defenses are the same thing as the guns,
Yes,
or
guns. Well, offense and defense are kind of yes.
Okay.
Because you're not directly going out of your way to attack something, so it's usually defensive weapons because you're not on the attack. But technically, yes, it is. Yeah, if you want to man the guns. Do any of you want to man the guns?
Sure.
Okay, that means...
That sounds fun.
All right, and you are tech priest, so it makes sense. Now, here's the question. One of you has to roll a d10 on behalf of the ship.
Okay.
I'm excited for this.
I mean, this is brand new for me. You know, no matter how boring people might think it is, first time doing this.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean,
Okay, now, I am rolling for grub. Grub nuts rolled really. Okay.
grub nuts. Is that who we're shooting?
That's the war boss's name.
Oh,
Yeah.
war boss.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I mean the captain of the freebooters, but he calls himself a war boss because he's the bestest and the biggest on the ship. So obviously he's a war boss.
Mm.
You know. Right. Let's see. Add the ship's.
You remember my my Warhammer 40K joke? I told it. I told it on Biggie's game. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Why do people like to hang out with orcs?
Mm?
Because they're a bunch of fun guys. It's terrible. It is. It's like one of my worst jokes that I have.
Oh. Alright.
That's pretty bad.
It's bad.
Alright. Ship's detection characteristic. And I have stats. I can share the stats with you guys if you want. For the Expectus Primus. Get some fun. I'm gonna, just so you guys have in case you ever want to look up the stats for your ship. I feel like I should give you as much ship stats as I can.
Is this a sword class frigate?
It is indeed a sword class frigate. And yes, you're a sword class. Wow. I believe yes, it's a sword class frigate. It's 4.5 gravity's max sustained acceleration, 26,000-ish. You get minus 20 all repair tests, but only minus 10 if the bridge is undamaged. The ship is fussy like that. But yes, that's what you've got. Let's see, 9. Oh yeah, and it's faster in battle than out of battle because it likes battle, which means you get a plus 13 bonus on your initiative roll. And their ship gets okay. So extended stern no, not that one. This is where no, not that one. That is not what we wanted to do. This is where it would be helpful to have a physical copy of the book so we could flip things instead of because there are some times when you're like, I should have a physical copy, and that this is one of them. But
If you make a copy of the file, you can open separate instances of the PDF and then switch between tabs. That's easier.
Oh, wow, that is very true. I don't know if they have a ship NPC vessels. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Yes. Yeah, so yeah, about slightly smaller than your ship. I have stats for this guy's ship, so his detection is plus 10. So, what did you roll on your D10?
Oh, I haven't rolled it. No,
Roll the D10.
Okay. And I rolled a 3.
So dang, so close. Your detection bonus would have been better, but it's gonna move first. So it decides to turret rating. What does it have in weapons capacity? Okay. I don't think you have any weapons on the ship. So Auger Ray, Independent Life Standard Bridge. It doesn't list the weapons. Alright. Captain's. Okay, yes. Looted prow macro cannons. Alright. So. We got guns with a Z. Okay. And you have to roll for
Someone call for the gun show.
Yeah. Technically macro batteries improved with Orky Tech. Alright. So it's gonna start with the guns. So let's see, and it's gonna go first. So we're gonna go back. Okay. Here we go. Yep. All right. So. Yes. All right. Roll initiative. Okay. All right. So. Yep. All right. So, each of you gets. Well, okay. Oh, it gets. Okay, they get a turn to fire. They're gonna fire their guns. You're not surprised because. Oh, this was not the right place to be in the ship. Okay, so, they're gonna fire. Thank you for bearing with me, all of you. I really appreciate it. Because I know, like, doing Starship Combat. And you guys get choice. This is the reason I don't do Starship Combat usually is because it gets, okay.
Yeah, way to go, Rob, for rolling that number.
Okay, so. Okay. Yep, so you get shooting action, maneuver action, shooting action, and, disengage. You can disengage, adjust bearings, okay. And you get ramming and boarding, okay. Okay, so it's going to turn and then, this is you can. I appreciate the patience of me not doing this on the fly, but yeah. So oh, you have to roll for how interesting the orc, because of the orc tech. You have to roll for how much damage it can do on each round. Basically, you have to roll for its certain okay.
You know, we might be able to make this battle really short.
How?
Jantine, you've already tapped into their comms, right?
Yes, correct.
So you can.
Not that they're making a lot of sense, but yeah.
So what are they saying?
It's random orc crazy babble talk stuff.
It's just the normal orc stuff, right? Like
yeah.
Bob
they're not. They're not.
Bob's.
Yeah, they're not giving away any kind of intelligence that's like actionable. Or go ahead.
What if you were able to change their message? Can you do that? You might be, because if they're being motivated by a certain message, maybe you can change the message to something else, you know, like instead of like their boss is the biggest, you know, their boss is the wimpiest.
That is
and you could run their morale.
Do you want to try that?
I absolutely want to try that.
You can absolutely try it. I am. Um. All right.
And you know what'd be fun? Can you do? I don't know if orcs have ship records, but if you hear like another name other than the orc boss come up, start promoting that dude and let that guy have to try to explain why he's suddenly being hyped as the big boss, and the
I
big boss will spend all his energy trying to kill that guy.
You can also guesstimate. You know what, Johan? Do
Hmm.
any of you have any special knowledge for orcs?
No, I mean I don't know what I've done in my past, so I
That's
can't
true,
tell
but
you.
you would usually, if there is a specific hatred because of enemy of the Imperium, Finnick. Hang on, did Finnick have? Um,
As far as orcs, I don't have any particular orc knowledge.
ah, someone had a very nasty history with orcs, and it was not one of you guys. Okay, so, um, all right, I will say if you want to, you can shut down their communications. If you make a successful tech use test, you can shut down their communications. Um,
but I don't want to shut it down.
okay,
I want to infiltrate and be
Yeah.
able to insert
okay.
into their
The question is, what are you
communications.
going to insert?
That's what Johan
Say,
was suggesting
was
is like
insert
if we
something.
could,
The question
yeah,
is, would it?
if we could pick up a name of the war boss or a name of somebody else and start
Um,
feeding disinformation into their comms
you
about.
you do know. Roll an intelligence check, just a basic
Okay,
intelligence test.
basic
Basic
intelligence.
intelligence test, because you were.
Oh, I think I rolled really well. 26, and my
Yeah.
int is high.
Okay, you know that the war boss name is probably Grubnuts, because that's who's being pushed on the. That's who the
Okay,
comms are saying are the bestest. So, Grubnuts is probably your war boss. Either that or
okay.
he's a big deal on the ship. Um. Yeah. So you could do that. You know the war boss's name, and you know that they're trying to push him as biggest, bestest, toughest. Now, if you started changing that with misinformation,
I see it that Grobnuts is a big wimp.
uh,
He's the smallest. He's the tiniest.
Jub Jub, much stronger.
Big.
okay,
Hopefully, there's a Jub Jub on board.
that's
And even
the,
if
the
not, they might be, who's the son of a bitch?
Yeah,
yeah. This
there
is
doesn't
the
need to
risk
be.
you're taking now.
Let them try to figure it out in the confusion. They'll be like,
All
who's
right.
Chop Chop?
Um, you guys, trying to think what kind of test would I do to make you like okay, so it would be a tech use to hack their comms, and then it would be another tech use to not a tech use, a test of charisma and skill. Someone who has like mimic, charm, intimidation. Do you have any?
Lather or deceive, maybe.
Yeah, do you have deceive? Blather or deceive? Do any of you have any of that a skill like that?
I'm looking. No, I do not.
I have intimidate.
Okay. Um, I'm guessing Finnick doesn't really have the social skills.
Finnick has a fellowship of 21. He's
Yeah.
not.
I've got a fellowship of 43, but it's saying it's an int check, not a charisma check. I don't have a charisma score.
Well,
Charisma,
fellowship.
fellowship
Charisma.
test.
Okay, well I have a 43 for my fellowship.
But intimidation, isn't based on intelligence.
Nope, it's strength.
Strength. That makes sense. I. Does none of you have deceive or? Okay.
I do have deceive
There
actually.
you go. That's your go one.
I have gamble, deceive, charm. I have all sorts of.
Okay, so you can choose deceive or charm, and basically you
Okay.
get up to there and you are going to convince them that Jub Jub is the bestest. You're going to mimic and work essentially. that is what, and you can choose it either as deception or as charm, depending on how you want to do it.
Well, I'd rather do charm because I have charm plus 10.
Okay, with an extra plus 10, always helpful. Okay, so yeah, you are going to charm them. You are going to mimic an orc. You're going to do your best orc impression.
Okay.
I will let you do charm instead of deceive, as I'm magnanimous.
All right.
And this is
I will roll a
charm
1 and a
plus
9.
D100.
Yeah, so I got a 1 and a 3.
Is
So
it
a
13
13.
or 31?
13.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I should pass either way, I think.
Yes, but all right, yeah. So
Degrees
you
of success can matter sometimes.
yeah, um,
Whoa!
yeah.
Who's
So
this grub nut? Jump, jump, big boss. Jump, jump, the biggest. Jump, jump, the strongest.
okay, so you
Jump,
record
jump,
that.
the orkiest.
That's pretty good. Okay, now Janthe needs to make a tech use test to get this
Okay.
really good orc recording onto the other ship. You're hacking their comms. You're putting that in on top of Grubnuts, on the channel that Grubnuts was using to.
I rolled a 39, and it was intelligence plus 10, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that passes because you have a high
Okay.
end.
Yeah.
Okay. This is working. Okay. So, yeah, you hear as you guys hear this, as the other ship, now you're still monitoring their comms, but as it stops, the ship stops, coming closer. It's maneuvering, and you can see it was kind of pulling in a position to ram. It stopped pulling that, so, and the guns, you can kind of see the guns were popping up. It stopped. It has stopped. Thanks to strategic acumen on your part. You know what? Sure. But yeah, I'll have to get better at Starship combat just in general. But, yeah, you have stopped it stopped. Now, it's still there, and presumably, and as you hear, the comms, you can kind of, and you keep going, you kind of put this, you can hear the comms, yeah, you can, the comms shut down, yeah, they shut down their comms. Both of them. There's no onboard comms, or at least the two channels that were broadcasting over the whole ship have been shut down. About 10 minutes after you put that message through, all of it shuts down.
Yep.
You can try to start it up again. Increase there.
So their ship has lost all its momentum and it's just sitting
basically
there.
It's stopped maneuvering and is kind of doing the thing where it's coasting along at speed, as the
We don't have to do anything. We can just keep going. We don't have to fight them.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
You in your captain.
But it's fun to mess with them also.
Yeah, you can keep you're gonna stay in close range for a while. Do you want to do another tech to restart them?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, this one's at a -10 because you're essentially have to find a workaround. So
Right.
This one's at a
Okay.
-10.
47.
Yeah, that would pass. Okay, so wait, you said your int is 53?
52. Yeah.
52. So at a -10, it would be, but you have tech use. That's
You would just have to beat a 53, yeah.
yeah. So it would actually even out. That yes, you can make it work.
Yeah, it doesn't have, what do you call it? Multiple degrees of success? It doesn't have that.
It is, how many degrees of success would it be? It would be, and it's math time. You said 47? Not quite a full degree of success.
Correct.
So
Correct.
less than a degree. So, but you can still, you basically broadcast on that same frequency and just use your own chips and broadcast it onto their frequency and then ping it into there, and it goes through the ship, and they're getting a lot of it is not it's not its guns go slack, and you can't see inside the ship, but you know it's getting intense in there. And they can't shut it down because they're not broadcasting it from. So basically, you can broadcast whatever you want. You can broadcast.
Okay. I'll add
Johan's.
another. I'll send another message to them.
Yes, let him send another message.
Grub that orcist. Only orc that can keep the comms going and keep the wall going.
All right.
Grubnut can't even keep the wall going.
You did shut it down. Okay. The one that was broadcasting wall. Okay. Roll another charm test. I should be making you deceive, but you're not.
Do I have a negative on this one or
no? Because
okay?
The acting skill isn't affected by how far away you are.
51. So
Okay, and you're
my...
patching that through.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm not even gonna make you roll for it. You can patch that through too. I don't know what you wanna. You have no idea what the effect this is on the other orc ship, but you notice that it stopped. It's falling back, and you keep going, and the ship is falling back, and you just keep going. Keep going.
Just trying to make them all maybe kill Grubnuts because he's a wimp for not keeping the wall going.
Something. Or Grubnuts is going to go on a killing spree and kill all his boys, and
That's just as good. I mean, if all
Either
the
way,
orcs are dead, you know.
Yeah, and if he throttles his mech boys for screwing up the comms, then they're short mech boys and they can't attack. And they seem to be you definitely falling behind as you move forward. So
yeah, we can just make like a tree. Hell out of here.
Oh yeah, actually no, Fennec does come from a planet with trees. I was gonna say there are planets where trees are illegal. But yeah.
You'll have to send me a little bit more detail about my homeworld too.
Okay.
All I know the death world.
Yes. And also you can
Later.
I can send you. Okay, hang on. I have to. So yes, it says okay. And you can. All right, it's actually fun. They have mammal snakes. This is what I have so far. Okay, sorry. This of course, freaking okay. Wow. Okay. Anyway, the point being. Okay. So also if you want to declare something canonically, like we have canonical that have invasive giraffes in Balboa. For no reason other than Johan said, Sig said so, and I was like, all right, I guess we have invasive giraffes. So if you want to declare stuff, but yes, so you're making all right. You've defeated the orcs. That means you get to Aplassia. You guys are gonna get there. Very excitingly. So, okay.
Yes, we can drop the link then. The situation is taken care of.
All right. So yeah, you managed to outrun the orc ship, and it causing internal chaos, and it's there doing orcs. You don't know what's going on with that, but and Grubnuts might want revenge later if he survives his civil war, but
if he would even be able to identify us down the line.
I was gonna say, who would he know? Who would he get revenge on?
That's true too.
Jub's a dead man. That's all I'm saying.
Or to even know that we love.
Yeah. There might be a mech boy or two who, well, I will have to. That is an interesting possibility, but that's for later. Right now, you have survived. You have bamboozled them. You have flown away, and you are approaching. You kind of come out of the warp, and oh yes, just to make a out of warp check. That is a thing she has to do. I think your navigator is Renthok born. Yeah, I think your navigator is a Renthok born. No, she isn't, but... No, she's not Renthok born, but she has... Okay. Let me check her skill set. Should be fine, but... yeah, your main navigator is... from Arahara. Oh, yeah. Did I put her... Question is, I have... is hers one of the ones that I never put up? Okay. Of course it is. Right. Her note, but yes, I have to go to these notes.
Okay.
But that is Janthine's. I have about Janthine's homeworld. Common lore, that's Odette. I have stats for Odette. I need to do another type of extremis when I need to do, but that is Zael, who is also another arch-militant on board. Hamish. I have oh, that's the captain's. I have everything. Yes, here we go. Her. And oh wow, she has terrible stats. Okay. Double. Okay. She has farce. Oh, she has that plus 10 bonus though, which gives her. Between that and having navigate warp, she's okay. It's close though. She's not actually that good a navigator. Okay, good to know. Well, she's good at navigating for what she is, but she's not particularly smart. So you're fine, luckily. And I'm gonna put these over here. Yeah, but you translate out of the warp and nothing bad happens, essentially. And I have to look up fairness stats, but you are okay. And you are now out of system, and you kind of glide in under regular power toward this planet. So, the planet Aplassia. Let me see what I have on this planet. Not, that's Koblik. You have gone to the planet Aplassia, because the captain's brother sent her a note that said, hey, this planet is... that he'd found this planet, one of the Atlantean's other brothers. She has multiple. The captain of the Squidvark, actually, which is another ship that is in... but he has his own... he has a ship, and he has as a rogue trader. And he, part of the big dynasty that her father had created by reasons. But, Captain Helmschull. So, ship, brother, the Squidvark, sent a message saying, hey, I have this ship that is this planet that he didn't particularly feel like trying to do anything with, but has left a handful of ecclesiarchy people to, push the Imperial Creed. The planet is hypothetically under Imperial control. It's dicey, though, at best. You're not sure what the situation is exactly, but you know it's dicey at best. You know that they are not in any danger of becoming, they're not... He wouldn't have left if there were any danger of them actually rising up against the Imperium. They kind of believed in the Imperial Creed, so he's just... before, they had been part of the Imperium, allegedly, but had lost contact. So they are... they are members, humans. They do believe in the Emperor. You're not sure what kind of government structure they have. He didn't specify, actually. They do have a lot of diamonds, though. And they are primed to be very big on Imperial people. but and they don't have ships, so you can bamboozle them with spacecraft and such. But yeah, they have a lot of diamonds, a lot of very valuable mineral wealth on this planet. Not just the diamonds. The diamonds are a big one, obviously. That's what you heard about. But there are other valuable mineral wealth. But you have very little information on the planet other than it's been revamped and is definitely on the Imperial side. And these guys are definitely humans. Not even any, like, abhumans where they have, like, a weird little thing that they count as human enough to have souls because it's stable mutation. No, they're humans. Baseline humans. So, what do you want to do? You're in orbit around this planet.
Well, can our sensors pick up mineral deposits?
If you want to do a geographic survey,
Yes.
okay. Can you do that from orbit is the question. I would say you're probably going to have to go down.
Okay.
If you want to do like a proper, you're going to need to at least plant some receptors to get a proper, yeah, you're going to have to go down to get a proper geographic survey. I will tell you that there's industrial, and if you look at you do like a scan, there are definitely mines.
Yeah.
And quarries, but that's
Hey, Lee.
yeah, in terms of exactly what might be down there.
Hey, Lee.
You know there are diamonds, and you know there is iron and copper, and other basic industrial grade important for getting, stuff that, and some of that, is mined locally. There was others mined for export that don't get used. That's what you heard. But you know that there is some mining for domestic use. And you know that the diamonds are mined as well.
Hey, Lee.
Yeah?
Out of character question, because it's just kind of help. What does the warrant of trade let us do? I mean, are we actual like commerce traders?
Yes, you can trade with any. You can buy and sell anything you want, basically. And any local permitting laws are just going to be, you have a warrant of trade. It's fine. But yeah, you can buy and sell. The warrant of trade also lets you do cold trade. Go beyond the borders of the Imperium and come back without having any weird negative consequences. That is the big one. Is it lets you go beyond out into well beyond Imperial controlled space and come back without consequence. It allows you to trade with Xenos in a limited capacity without being immediately cataloged as traders, although you're expected to sell them out to be murdered eventually by the Imperium. But you legally can, trade with them. That gives you another little boost of the warrant of trade. It gives you a little bit of outs on local laws. Not entirely, mind you, but for any kind of small local ordinances, if you have a warrant of trade, you can very easily intimidate local authorities into just letting you do things. And so, certain things like import and export permits that are required, you can oftentimes scuffer that because you have a warrant of trade. Essentially, it's a badge saying the Emperor personally likes you, and therefore you can, do whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was thinking is we could look at what they produce here, and see if there's anywhere on our planned route that whatever goods that they sell here we could sell along the way.
Yeah, you can absolutely do some actual trading.
It is actually pretty common too for an official road trader dynasty to have their own domain. So
Yeah.
planets that are under their jurisdiction that they take a big cut of, but then you also have to provide protection and
Yeah, you absolutely could have. Now, you guys don't have any of those yet, but yes, you could absolutely put this under your domain. Yeah, you could absolutely set up. Yeah, it's true. You could have, and you can conquer also in the name of the Imperium. If you come across Imperial planets with humans on them that are not under the Imperium for whatever reason, you can force them to join the Imperium, and that gives them that. Yeah, you can conquer in the name of the Imperium. You can sponsor settlement efforts if you want. If you want to do that. For planets that are terraforming, you can sponsor terraforming and settlement efforts if you want. And those planets would then owe you permanent, debt.
Yeah, if these guys aren't already claimed by any particular dynasty or larger, I guess governorship's the wrong word, but like
yeah, if they aren't if no faction of the Administratum is particularly keeping track of them or anything, then yes, you could absolutely bully your way into having this as a power base. It seemed
that's
like
true.
the other Captain Helmshill didn't feel like doing that. Was like, I could, but it's a pain in the ass, and was just gonna just kind of made sure that they weren't heretics because such things are important. But yeah, had just kind of done the bare minimum of making sure they're paying lip service to the Emperor, and then just left them because it was a pain in the ass. But you could, and that's why I think he told you, he told the captain, like, hey, you have this option of doing this because, I kind of set it up, primed it for you, go for it. So yeah, you could set up a diamond trade. You could take over if you wanted. You can absolutely do that. You could also, if you can find any reasonable justification that they are not perfect Imperial citizens, you could probably pull an exterminatus. And I wouldn't, but just saying, you have a lot of power here.
Maybe we should meet with the planetary authorities, check out their government, and see.
That's fair.
Yeah, see what we could
All right.
finagle.
So, figuring out this, what you know about Aplassia is that it's kind of off. It got the last time there was an actual imperial census was over 1,000 years ago, so you don't know what the government sitch is. You do have contact with the priests that got left, who were basically ecclesiarchy, so you have contact with them. But in terms of who the planetary governor is, the last records of anyone having any were hundreds of years ago. So, who knows if they're accurate.
Many generations of people, so
yes,
things have changed. What was the name of the planet again?
Aplassia is what it's been called.
Can you spell that for me?
Oh yes, Aplassia.
AP.
I believe is how I spelled it. Let me check on how I spelled it on one page. All right. No. Oh, I can't turn my own channel. Dang. I believe that's how. Yes, that's how I spelled it. That's how I spelled it on the notes. So,
Did you?
Here, I'll put it in the other one as well. Let me.
What? I don't see where you're putting that.
Yep, I'm putting it in the other one as well. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah. I put it in the chat, the group chat.
Oh, I was close.
I put it in Twitch chat too, but
I was close. I was missing one S. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, but Aplassia.
All right. Thank you.
So, what do you guys want to do with Aplassia? What do you want to? You're in orbit around it, and you do you do get you notice that there is a satellite, one single. There's a.
Just one?
Yes. Hang on. Okay. Let me check my geographic notes.
It's a multi-tool satellite.
Well, yeah,
When you
there's
say
planet.
or
Okay,
like
so
a
hang on.
little station or like a communication satellite kind of thing?
No, there is one single. Okay, there's a natural satellite like a moon.
Oh,
And then there's one single other communication. It's a basic communications satellite. There's one.
They don't have like weather control satellites
No,
or.
they have exactly one single non-natural satellite that is orbiting their planet. One.
Wow. Okay.
Um, yeah. Different
get
tech
the
level.
memo on
Imperium
that.
has multiple different tech levels depending on what people have and where in planets were settled and how they ended up in the Imperium and such. And this one has exactly one satellite, and it looks fairly. Actually, roll a tech news test. You're a
Yeah.
You're a connoisseur of tech. You might know something about
Great.
this.
So
39.
All right, you would, and your int is what 53.
52.
2 degrees of okay. Or 1 degree of success, but 2 because tech. Okay, so you would know that this is probably it's a slightly out of date build, but it is you kind of recognize like, oh, one of these. It's probably not local. It's a mass produced. The closest Imperium has to mass produced. That is to say, it's a actually no, they do have mass produced. It's basically produced on a Forge world that and shipped out to other planets for use by various Adeptus Mechanicus fleets and stuff if they need to put up a satellite quickly. It's mass produced on a Forge world instead of local. So whoever it came from somewhere other than on planet, it's and they don't aren't usually ground launched. They're usually ship launched. These ones. That is to say, something in orbit will pop them out of the ship in orbit at the exact velocity to hit whatever planet their target planet is. But they're pumped from ships rather than from the ground up and then into orbit. So, I mean, it can be deployed by ground base, but generally isn't. Or presumably could be, but it's not generally designed for that. So this is, and you would know that a lot of rogue traders, in fact, you guys have several on board, in case of you ever need to have a satellite, you can have them. You do have a few. Not unlimited or anything, but you have enough that you could put 1 or 2 in orbit around a planet. So, and you know that it has some sensors, some basic sensors that can detect, basically detect that trouble in orbit, incoming asteroids and ships in orbit. So it's probably going to ping you that you're there, unless you take evasive maneuvers or
No.
try to avoid it specifically.
No,
it's a whole nightmare to do. But yeah, it's possible.
There's no need. I mean,
okay.
I'm thinking we should show up as we're here to organize this backwater planet for the rogue trader for our captain.
Okay.
So that we go there and we so we can try to find out what the government is and say that we're here. You know, we've been getting reports of a lot of inefficiency going on in this sector. And so we're going to need to organize, figure out what what the population is, where the diamond centers are, and restructure them. And in the process, we can try to make it so that in the restructuring.
We're gonna do an audit first.
Okay.
Right.
So you're looking to contact possibly whoever. So the reason I bring up the satellite is because you get a transmission message that's sort of beamed on a broad spectrum, like, all channel Star Trek thing where you just beam like a bunch of different frequencies and hope that you hit the one that they can pick up kind of transmission. You're getting something like that coming in. Um, uh, and um, basically, um, it says, "Are you emperor fearing? And do you mean us harm?"
Empire of Theory.
Emperor fearing,
Reassuring.
as in
And
you
I
fear and
say,
respect the emperor.
why not both?
Is this poor Gothic, or is that like the name of a ship?
No, it's
No, he's
it's
saying,
gothic.
are we in line with the emperor?
Yeah,
Do we fear him?
yes. The
Oh, I see.
it
Okay.
there is a term, God fearing. This is sort of like that, but it's emperor fearing because they,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I
That's
understand.
that's what they say. Now, true, it's not exactly the same. They do speak low Gothic. Their accents are a little off, and you're like, is that Goth? But you're like, that's oh, I see what you mean. So yes, it's misinterpretive possible, but that's generally what you get. And do you mean us harm? That is more obvious.
Uh, yeah, we want to broadcast back. We are here in service of the Emperor and the Omnissiah. We come in peace and in interest of commerce.
Okay, so you're beaming that, sending that back down.
Yes.
Okay, and you can pretty easily trace where it's coming from and send it back down. Uh, and you hear back, "Oh, that is good news. You have a star move between stars ship vessel? Yes?
Affirmative. We do.
And can you come down? Where do you intend to come down?"
Where just indicate your biggest population center, and we will come down in that vicinity.
And you can. There's a momentary pause. There's a little bit of a pause, and between the transmission doesn't come right away, and then um 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 that it comes back up. Uh, you say the largest population center, but wouldn't it be prudent to go to one that has more control? They're not the same on this planet.
Sure. Yes, I just assumed that they would be the same, but yeah, wherever your control center is, seat of government, seat of bureaucracy, seat of diplomacy, anything like that.
Um, and um, after a moment, it comes back. The Sky people went to Theridel, and that is considered to be in charge of things.
Did they say sky people?
Yes, Sky people
Sky.
Are
specifically.
these primitives?
Primitives
What
is
is
a strong word. They you remember you have exactly one satellite, and it was not put here by these people. So, um,
Hmm.
they
This is
Okay.
gonna be like Renaissance era.
it's gonna be a little bit further ahead than that. Think more
Ping pong?
TL TL
In
six.
industrial,
Yeah, post industrial.
post industrial. Okay.
So like, but not like super post industrial, like just toward the like they have
Early
motorized.
1900s.
And of course it depends on where on the planet you are too. Um, um, and The the things come back. Are you connected to Captain Helmshoel in any way?
No, not anyway. That name's not familiar to me.
Captain Helmshoel, who is your captain?
That is.
Oh, ha! Sorry. I mean, I like I said,
Yeah,
uh,
you'll have to forgive my companion here. She's a very literal being, being a
true. I am not
she thought she meant
physically connected.
connect. Yeah.
Um. Okay. So yes, the yeah, kind of. um. So, he did say he set up this, and you get back. He set up this monitoring station and put us in charge of keeping an eye on it. We were told to watch out for another ship under the captain as well, or another Imperial ship that someone else from the Emperor's vast array of holy servants might send.
I guess they found us.
GM, give me half a second as a GM. Alright, the, frickin' leaf blower outside, was being annoying. Okay. So, and, so you are connected to Captain Hamilton. And, the transmission comes back. Go speak to Father Arbital Al Muhammad. He is a father of the Emperor, a priest of the Emperor, and was put in place specifically by Captain Helmshoel. He knows more. He is also in Veridel, so that works. He is your connection point.
All right.
And then you get, after about a minute, you get back one last transmission, just thank you for coming to our planet.
You're welcome. I was that was like the tourist industries stepped up there at the end.
Like, we should probably something. Yeah. You get the impression that this small office is not particularly, like, they don't particularly have a protocol or anything. They were just told to monitor in case a ship came in and intercept. And now they're doing it. They have no idea what they're doing. But yes, you know that Veridel is the main city and has some political importance, and you know that's where the other Captain Helmshoel set up, and you know that Arbital al-Muhammad is your guy who is a priest of the ecclesiarchy. And also a contact, and probably your best bet. So he's the off-world contact. He's not the head of anything. You still don't know who that might be. You did not get that information, whether or not you could ask. But that's what you've got so far.
All right.
You want to make Planetfall, set up a meeting, maybe figure out if they're interested in falling under the Helm Shoal banner for mutual trade and protection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So yeah, so you are going to go down. You do get coordinates for Veridel if beamed up, so you know where the city is. Now, when you look down, it is a big city. Um, the coordinates give you are kind of like a random spot in the like a random spot in the city, but you realize it's a sprawling metropolis. Maybe not sprawling, but it certainly is spread out more than you know.
So more out than up.
Yes, it's definitely not a. It does have some up, but it's nothing more than 10 stories high, and you know,
So it's not a hive city.
no, it is not a hive city. It is a um. But yeah, if you ever seen New York in the 1910s, like it is a city. It's spread. It is a. Now I have to look up population numbers, or you're gonna.
I need to AFK like 1 minute. Be right back.
Okay. Yeah, there's that. Okay. Yeah, 9 million. Yeah, roughly 10 million. Yeah. So yeah, 10 million would be plausible with this tech level. Why don't we do a break, like a 5-minute break, and we all come back in 5 minutes? That'd be okay with everyone. I'm gonna put a Majiggy What's It up. The mics will be live, but okay, there we go. I'll be back in a minute. Thank you for your patience.
All right, back.
All right, hang on. Bum. Okay, let me. All right, are we all back? Okay.
Yes.
Give me a second to bring the Majiggy What's It thingamabob to the thinga. No, that one. Yes, good. And we can hear. You should say something just in case.
Testing.
Something just in case.
Okay, good. We can hear everyone, and that's good. Now you might know. Welcome back, everyone. I'm still Lee. These are still my players. The player introductions got not on because they didn't record properly because the mic wasn't working. The setup wasn't wrong. But yeah, these are the players. They're really cool. We could do another introduction at the end. But back to the plot. You guys are, there's a city, and you have coordinates, and it's not even in the center of the city, but you can kind of see there is a square. If you look down, there's a square, but it's hard to see exactly because you're still in orbit. So you have a city. You have coordinates for a city that is political center, if not the highest population center, and also that has about like 3 million people. So quite a large city, and it has a it has the it's got a yeah okay, so yeah, 3 million, yeah, it's possible. So it's not exactly it's a large city, and it has a big, you have coordinates. You have do you want to land? How do you want to get? Because you have, okay, you can teleport things back to the ship, but not from the ship. This is an important note. Now, there's possibly a workaround for that one of your other tech priests has been working on. They haven't tested it yet. But essentially, you can't go down teleport arm-wise. You can go back up if needed. It's an emergency backup retrieving, which is very useful in certain situations, but not in this one. So you have to go down in a flyer. You essentially, you have a craft you can take down. You don't have drop pods, unfortunately.
You probably wouldn't survive the descent if we took a drop pod.
That's true. You don't have the armor or the natural toughness. But do you want to take a flyer down? And if so, where do you want to land it? There's a park of reasonable size in the middle of the city you could try for. Although it's, very much given the situation, how it shows, you're probably going to be noticed. But it has enough room you could land it.
Actually, I was thinking let's make the biggest, most grand entrance possible to impress them.
Okay, so you want big, grand, flashy entrance, and everyone
Absolutely.
can see it. Okay.
Absolutely.
I think we should set our ship right down on top of their Capitol building. Like, we're taking over. You guys suck. We're the new bosses.
Okay.
You can even use your the flying skull.
Servo skull?
Yeah, have your servo skull fly out after we land the craft and be like the herald proclaiming our arrival.
There we go.
Yeah, you do have. I believe yours is named Kato, although you can give it a new name if you want. So yeah, you can in fact get a flyer down. So you want big and flashy.
Yes.
So your options are land in the park. There is a square that's kind of big and open and has like a fountain in the middle. You could probably land. It'd be a little tight, but you could land in the square. And you do notice there's a large statue there too, so that might be an option. You got your park, you got your square. You could try for on top of a building. The only thing is the flyer is also heavy. So if you landed on top of a building, there's no guarantee that it won't crash through the building. And
well, that's what I wanted to do with the crash the building.
Through the building.
I was thinking we could land on the statue or the fountain and just like crush it and demonstrate our complete disregard for
Can we do a circle around first and see if they have any like important statues or anything, so we can just land like right on the statue of their leader? Just
Okay. So yeah, you have options. So yeah.
unless it's a statue of the emperor, we don't want to crush that.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? There very well might be. So because from what you gathered, they still worshipped the emperor, or they had.
well, we would crush it because it was such an inferior
We will
tribute to the emperor that they need to redo that nonsense.
we will be replacing that with a far better statue.
You could spin it. Maybe you could spin that. Possibly, Johan's very charming.
And by we, I mean that we're going to tax the planet and make the citizens pay for it.
Well, yeah.
Of course.
So
build a statue in order to make this planet pay for
it. That's right.
The emperor is not impressed by your primitive attempts at art.
Yeah. So you have all of that's possibility. Yeah. So you guys have.
What is that? Chat AI? This is terrible. Where did you start to do art for that?
The name of the planet is Aplassia, right? It starts with an A. Make Aplassia great again.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Lee's like, this has gone too far.
So you guys have a flyer. Do any of you have any piloting skills, or do you need a pilot?
Checking a pilot. I don't think any of us have.
Nope.
I don't think we've ever had pilot skills in our group.
I think you have. Nope, not that one. Nope.
Wasn't Reaver a pilot, but he only played with us once?
Harmon, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Harmon does have piloting skills himself.
But he can't play with us very often.
Yes. So, those are all planets. Okay, I am looking through. I think I put a list of other NPCs that aren't. Okay, security personnel. Let's see. Other. Let's see. An astropath. Oh yeah, you have your extra astropath. You have Nanette and your med techs. No, not him. What else you got? Is anyone? You could take your Nolan, who has the flamer.
Yes. Nothing impresses little primitives like big gouty flames.
Okay. You want to take him? Because you have he also has, I will say, piloting skill, some piloting skills. Yeah, because I don't have I had a list of other people on your ship who are, and I did not write down the pilots. So you're gonna say yes, that Nolan has some piloting skills. Yeah, you got Sergeant Fairbank. But actually, we never actually established what planet he's from. But let's see. Are there any? Let's on the Squidbark. You got not Dr. Keynes. You have Jezebel. If you need an extra astropath. Navigator. Captain Verbank or Sergeant Verbank. She's not actually a sergeant exactly, but she has a little bit of secondary council.
How did you get the name sergeant then?
It's a title you guys gave her. So him, that asshole. Useful, but not your usual. Adrona.
So her real name is Sergeant. So like if she was a sergeant, she'd be Sergeant.
No, Anna is her name, but you gave Anna Verbank the title of Sergeant.
I did.
Not you personally, but someone on the ship did, and she started calling her that, and everyone just kind of goes with it because she has major non-com energy, and so they just gave her the title Sergeant. If that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna say that Nolan has piloting skills, and if you want him, I'm giving him piloting skills.
Okay.
There are other pilots aboard the ship if you want someone who doesn't have, isn't big on the flamer, doesn't have that kind of.
No, I want him.
Okay, So you're
Oh,
taking
yeah.
It's interesting.
Okay. So down your so all right. So you're let me get this. So you have a ship setting out for the surface. I am keeping an eye on the time. You are taking Nolan. Who else do you want? Who do you want? Medtex? Do you want extra guns? Do you want just you guys and Nolan? Do you want?
I have to ask because I'm not familiar.
Sure.
Do we have any Space Marines on the ship?
No.
No. Okay.
Space Marines are genetically engineered super soldiers.
Yeah.
They have,
I know that. I wasn't
they
sure.
are their own thing. They have their chapter masters control entire planets. They generally don't. You might team up with Space Marines, maybe, but it would be on their terms, not just having them on board.
Also, keep in mind, like, the sheer rarity. I cannot stress enough how rare it is to see a Space Marine, period. There's maybe, rough estimate, like, 1 million total loyalist Space Marines in the galaxy.
Right.
There are more planets in the galaxy owned by the Imperium than there are individual Space Marines.
Right. Okay.
So
Yeah, and I know when you're talking galaxy wide, a million's not a big number.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking for something like really impressive and showy to take with us. Like, do we have an armed military guard or?
Oh yeah, you have soldiers. You have a paramilitary, a bunch of paramilitary soldiers. You have Johan, who's pretty solid, but you have uniformed flunky soldiers too. Sergeant Fairbank's kind of like the head of those, which is actually got the team sergeant, but Nolan's one of them. But you have a bunch of others. You could take a handful. How many you want? There is a limit. Hang on. You're going to you can't get more than, let's see, pilot plus so 6 plus the pilot, so 7, 8 altogether. So there's
okay.
you and him makes 4, so you can take 4 more. 4 soldiers. You want.
So have any of you guys been to Las Vegas and seen the hotel that has like the water spouts that do
Yes.
art?
The Bellagio. Oh, actually,
The
no, if you go to
Bellagio.
Guardia-
We're gonna do that, but with flamethrowers.
I was gonna say LaGuardia has the coolest water statue, but freaking with flamethrowers. Okay, I'm not saying you can't. How many do you want?
All
yeah,
of the flamethrowers.
all the guards to have flamethrowers and to give us a like an arching demonstration. What we're
All right.
doing.
Let me see.
You're gonna see this display all across. We're gonna light up the sky there. We'll do it at night too, so that it'll just like light up the whole
You're
perimeter
coming down
city.
Okay, I mean the Granite does have a day-night cycle. You can wait until night to come down and do this.
Or we would get down there a little bit earlier, but we would do the display at night.
So come in at like sunset or late afternoon.
Yeah, we'll come late afternoon so that we can land the plane without like problems.
Okay.
But and give us time to set up our display.
All right. So you want random? Okay. So you got you can have 4 more guys. And you just want soldiers who have who can wield flamethrowers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm sending now with you? Just
Well, I mean, if these guys are like post-industrial, their weaponry is going to be pretty sad ass anyway. So it's not like we need to overly militarize our.
Yeah, they probably don't even have Tommy guns yet. So yeah, you're probably gonna get bolt action, at best. They might have some sort of machine gun, but it's gonna be big. It's not personal carry machine guns. They're gonna have heavy.
Well, it's not gonna be laser guns or that kind of stuff.
Projectile weapons, and you're looking at if you have anything ranged, it's gonna be projectile. Now they might have something like bolt action, which will hurt if you get shot with them, and you only have no, you guys have actual armor. Never mind. None of you have flak. You have real armor. Then you're fine. I mean, solid. Yeah, you have not even like really good sluggers either.
Not black. It's real armor as opposed to what the guard themselves are equipped with.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, flak armor. World War II pilots had flak armor. It's not. It is. It is helpful against frags. Not so much against directed weaponry.
Well, if things start getting out of hand, I mean, you got to admit that like if those guys start pulling out their little guns and then we start shooting back with lasers,
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
blast guns are pretty terrifying for.
Yeah.
They're the Emperor's flashlight, but to a primitive civilization, that's
yeah,
horrifying.
yeah, and to be fair,
especially when we start cutting them in half with these lasers, they're like, oh, snikey.
yeah. Freaking laser guns. The Emperor. The reason that glass guns get maligned a lot is because if you have heavy bolters, and like once you have stuff like plasma and heavy bolters, it's like, well, we just got lasers. I don't know. But compared to say, even 21st century Earth,
Yeah.
especially and the way the charge packs are so interchangeable and easily recharged a gajillion different ways.
There's the difference between fighting unarmored dudes who just drop in one shot versus fighting gigantic orcs and tyrannids and things where it's like, you have to have the biggest cannon imaginable to even do anything to them.
Exactly. Las guns are kind of if you're fighting a war boss and all you got's a las gun, that's tricky. Although not like an AK-47 would do much better, but if you're fighting just a guy, which you are, these are just people. Now they're not even heretics. Also, keep that in mind. Remember, they're not heretics. They believe in the Emperor as
Yeah, I mean, we're not here to fight them. We're just here to put on a show.
Okay.
And try and impress them.
Not so we do it in front of the statue, and they all have their all our flamethrowers. They're all pointing in there. They're waving in the air, kind of like the Bellagio, doing little waves with the flames. And then at the end, they all focus fire on like a statue, just like melt it.
Do we have to destroy their stuff?
You don't have to.
No, it's not that we have to; it's that we want to.
All right, you're not bringing Harlan. You're bringing these guys. And you've equipped them all with chains. Now, granted, these guys know how to do flamethrowers. They've been trained, and you can give them a little practice run too. But they're not experts at it.
Well, they don't have to be. It's not like these guys are like, oh, I saw a much better flamethrower display the other day.
All right. You know what? I'm sending Luna with you. She's going with you.
Who?
One of your soldiers. She's Oliverin. Yep. She's one of your guys, girls, but she's, yeah, she's with you. All right. So yeah, you have five. You have you guys and five soldiers who are all equipped with flamethrowers. Not their usual las guns, although Luna does have a backup blast pistol. That she's and Andel does have a fucking sword, a machete. It's a long story, essentially. But yeah, he's, but yeah, you guys have your guys, and you're not sending them with las guns as well. They're just the flamethrowers.
Oh no, las guns also.
Okay,
Yeah.
So they're all double packing. All right, good to know. Not Nolan, but Nolan doesn't do well with las guns anyway. He's not that good with a las gun. His marksmanship is abysmal, but he's good piloting, so it evens out. I should note that down. Is math. Okay, so yeah, so you have them with that. Yep, you all pile in, and you're on your way down. Okay. So, you're going down late afternoon, and yeah. So as you go into this the square in Veridal, you see that there is the big statue of the emperor, and you can see the diamonds piled, just piles of diamonds in the front of it, and you have this big statue or big fountain in front that kind of uh, you know it depicts something. It's definitely statuey. But yeah, you have this big fountain, and you notice it kind of spread out. It's got spigots along the edges, and so it's got like an art piece in the middle, and then around the edges you can see other like spigots almost. And yeah, but as you come down over them, everyone stops because you guys are flying over them. And so you kind of see, and Nolan kind of circles in the big town square where there's the statue of the emperor, you've got the fountain, and you've got a lot of area, and Nolan's like, I could take it down right there, kind of points. I could just take it right there. Want us to do it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
So he kind of comes down, and he comes down in front of the statue, or in front of the fountain, and you kind of see he's kind of gonna put it down gently with no smashy. That's his plan.
Okay.
So yeah, you set it down right in front of this, like between the statue and the fountain, and in this like really narrow spot. And there's everyone clears out of the way. Nobody,
Well, I would hope so.
yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's spilling backward and freaking out a little bit, and they're all like standing there, and everyone's just kind of clustering around. No one's sure what they're doing. Everyone's just standing, and you watch as you land, and the pavement does crack a little bit. It's all this brick stone. It's like a brick plaza, and it cracks a little bit because it was not meant to handle the weight of a freaking flyer. But the door opens up.
Okay. Can we make it so that when we open up the bay, like a whole bunch of fog pours out of it?
Yeah,
Or
yes.
smoke.
Machine.
Yes, we need fog.
Roll a tech use test to see if you can rig up a smoke machine. Essentially a fog machine.
You talking about Johan?
No,
Or me?
Janty. I mean, you're the
Me?
tech-
Okay.
Well, I mean, you're the tech guru. You're the one who does tech stuff.
Oh yeah, 26. Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to have a freaking fog machine, I'd say yeah, you could probably have a fog machine.
Yo,
Can we have it
I want to
purple?
rig the door so that it makes this very mechanical, like like from Aliens, goes down and goes really, really slow.
Mm-hmm.
This
Can you
is
make
so
can you make it purple fog too?
this is so over the top.
That one would be another tech use at minus 10,
Oof.
minus 20.
Minus
At
minus
Oh.
20.
Purple
I'm-
is difficult. Unless
I
you
am-
destroy your grenades and make it like haze.
No,
I'm
no,
more than willing to purpleize those guys. That's fine.
no. Let's not use the grenades. I'll just roll another tech use. Ah,
They,
no,
they
fail.
all just laid
I've-
around.
I failed that badly.
No,
Okay,
no stats
Okay,
looking
no,
at
it's
us.
not gonna be. It's not gonna be purple.
It's not 100?
No, it's 84.
Okay, that's... If it starts getting to be like 100, then you got
Oh, okay.
critical failure. But no.
Can I also try something stupid and potentially dangerous just for flair?
Yes.
I mean...
Absolutely.
Sure.
So, like, the goal here isn't actually so much for the power that I want to manifest. It's more deliberately invoking a phenomenon just to, have an impression on people.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to use Mind's Eye, which in and of itself doesn't technically do anything.
Okay.
It just increases the range of my other powers, but it does require a test.
Mhm.
And then I'll push.
Oh, and then you have to roll on the thing, and because you have the Emperor's Blessing, you can specify which one you do.
Right.
So you're just ripping raw warp power, just,
Maybe a little, yeah.
Okay. You know what?
Or
This
we'll
could be
summon demons, which will be just as impressive. I mean,
this could be incredibly stupid.
So
So
if you don't roll, yeah, because you would have to roll on the willpower test first.
okay, so I got a 52, which is well underneath my
Okay.
threshold.
So yeah,
So
you can
the power
manifest power.
succeeds.
Now, because you pushed, you have to roll on the
The table.
or phenomenon table, and then if it gets past a certain level, you have to roll on the perils table. So you just have to be under perils. Well,
I rolled a 43, but that's also a plus 15. Okay, that should be fine.
So if it's under 75, you don't have to roll on the perils table, and you have the one where you can switch it to whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So you can pick one of them instead of just whatever 43 happened or 53 happens to be on the chart, which actually.
Well, 43 plus 15 is 58.
58.
So that's still under 75.
Yes, but you don't have to take whatever 58 is. You can switch it out with.
Right. I'm not going to even bother checking because I was intending to do technically, I don't get to pick whatever I want. It's the one that I picked when I got the talent. So it's
right, which ice.
It's for frost.
Yes, because that's your thing. Okay.
So I got a 5, a 9, and a 1. So 15 meters worth of just frost and ice out as we step out of the shuttle.
Yeah. So you pull the warp power to you, and then you tap farther than you know. You know you shouldn't because you know this is gonna happen, and then you're like, oh, but I could take that to my advantage. And you know that the Emperor is with you and is not going to let anything really bad happen. So you pull, and it works, and the frost comes out, and the fog rolls out as Janthine gives the fog machine a little kick, and just plain, regular old fog. Now, granted, it's not, you're in there with the fog machine. It's not exactly pleasant. So you guys are a little off, but you guys are, you told them it was happening ahead of time. They're ready. They're soldiers. They can do this. As long as they have a heads up, they march right out. In formation, right around you, with their flamethrowers, and the last gun slung across their back, and they are just circling. And he opens the door right into this sort of this narrow pit where a lot of diamonds are spilling out onto the ground. So you're just basically just diamonds, mounds of them. And you're just walking right up to the front of this big mound of diamonds, and with the fountain behind you, and you're just there. Right in front of the statue of the Emperor. You're looking up there, and it's actually a half decent statue. It's gold plated, and it's one of the pre Golden Throne statue depictions of him. Most depictions are.
But you don't make them feel comfortable that they've made a good donation. We want to impress. We want to make them feel like what they're doing was inferior.
Okay. So yeah, you walk right up there, and you're just standing there with the fog billowing out and the ice right across the entire diamonds are now also ice, and the statue is 50 meters. Yeah, the statue is surrounded, the area around the statue is entirely surrounded by ice. The statue itself is frosted over, and you guys are just there.
Okay, I will use my charm.
Okay.
And do I have a microphone or anything that can shout out to the increase my voice to the crowd?
You can probably get a small mic, I would say, yeah.
Okay. So Johann will go out. Citizens of Aplassia, the Emperor is your friend.
Friend?
And then
you should say we come in the name of the Emperor.
And you did not contact the guy you had contact with ahead of time, telling him you were
No.
This.
No.
Of course not. Okay.
No.
All right.
We don't need permission.
No, you don't need permission to do anything, but you are surrounded. You find yourself sort of
by people or by soldiers? Because that's a big difference.
No soldiers yet, but you do have cops. Um, you know, certainly, uniformed officers who are trying to maintain peace, but they don't exactly have. The cops don't have guns, but they do have they do have uniforms and they do have these nightsticks, and they are trying to impose like a threatening. They're trying to push back and create a perimeter. They're kind of pushing people back.
Okay, they're pushing the people, not trying to intimidate us. Okay,
No, they're not trying
that's
to attack you yet. They're more focused on crowd control because this is going to get out of hand. And you can see a sheriff, and he has a badge. Kind of come forward.
that is a fancy looking badge you have there,
He also
sir.
has a gun. The sheriff has a gun, a bolt action, single shot, but a gun. None of the
And for primitive worlds, that gun would rank at least a 4 out of 10. That is great.
Yeah, it's
Great.
functional and will kill an unarmored human. And is certainly probably like the most.
Lee, I never asked. Do I have legs or tank tracks?
Do you want tank tracks or legs?
No, no. Legs are fine.
Basically, you can make the Mechanicus. You can have whatever kind of cyber. You can have flesh legs if you want. You don't have to replace your legs.
You can have spider legs.
You could also have spider legs if you want. But yeah, they won't give you any mechanical advantage. But yes, you can have any kind of. You can have prosthetics that are pretty much flesh but slightly better. You can have regular old. You can still have your flesh legs. You can have some sort of half flesh leg, half.
I'm just gonna go with like augmented legs at the moment.
Yeah. So
okay.
A human design variant of mechanical.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, you can also swap them out.
You there, person with the badge. You look like it's someone of importance.
And he kind of puffs up a little bit.
We are here on the will of the Emperor to help enlighten this world and improve its quality to a standard that is acceptable to the Emperor.
And he kind of narrows his eyes at that. He said, we are fully in compliance with the Emperor.
Of course. So. Yes, you are. But we're here to improve your quality of life and thereby improve the quality of donations and tribute that you give to the Emperor.
Are you here to collect tithes?
No. We're here to improve the collection of tithes.
And he seems kind of confused by this. Roll a charm test.
Okay. And as a reminder, I get a +10 to that.
Yeah.
Very charming, apparently. And let's see, 50-50.
All right.
So I believe I made it. Mm-hmm. Unless I have a penalty, I made it.
No, I'd say no penalty for now. Yeah.
We'd love to improve the standard of living on your planet. Help your population out. Make it easier for them to perform their duties, to live enjoyable lives.
Kind of gives a nod. And said, do you want to speak to the High Shah?
Yes.
Okay.
So have him come over at our earliest convenience if you can, please.
He said, I can.
You like how I slipped that in there? Our earliest convenience.
Yep. Well, your earliest convenience is. Okay, so he offers basically he says that he can bring you to the High Shah's palace to speak with Aisha directly, or he can send a message and sort of organize some sort of meeting on neutral ground.
Oh, why don't we do it in a territory? Why don't we do it right here? We're in front of all your fine citizens.
Uh, and he kind of nods, and he said it's going to take them a couple of minutes to get it set up. Um,
While you're doing that, we will entertain the crowds with our feats of technology.
and he seems kind of um, uh, hesitant about this nonsense.
Nonsense.
But he said that yeah, you could put on a performance if you wanted, as long as you didn't say move past the barricade just yet. They're creating a perimeter, and they want you to stay within the perimeter, and everyone else stays outside. Sorry.
That's fine. If they got too close, I would hate for them to get incinerated.
Okay. Yes. See, I was okay. I was stalling you out for a little bit because the daddy thing happened, and I wanted to see that. So, I mean, of course, we're recording later. But anyway, the point. Yeah. So yeah, you. He said, yeah. They set up a meeting. They agreed to set a meeting with the high shop. They call up some people. They're gonna put together like a press conference almost, and have the high shop come down for that. As a last minute press conference, they're gonna put up they're gonna put up a stage essentially on the other side of the square for you and High Shaw, and then people are just gonna come kind of fill in.
Sure.
And the
now here's a question: we're being a rogue trader ship. I imagine that we would have a marketing department, wouldn't we?
Marketing department is a little strong, but you have.
But I mean, you would have people whose
Oh yeah.
job is to influence,
Yeah, I mean,
to.
you have the seneschals who's understanding the market.
So
You
like
have people who
you,
know what the locals are, and you have people who can influence. Yeah, you have people who can run influence campaigns if needed. What
I
we
mean, it
want.
seems ridiculous that like I would be the direct representative of making deals and whatnot with,
Yeah, well, normally you would. It depends on who. Normally, you could have the captain come down. You could have the seneschal come down. It is a
well,
little.
what would the captain I will contact the captain and ask her how she would prefer to handle this.
Um. She, okay, now I have to be. Well, are you already there?
Yes,
Then we should have considered this before you went down, perhaps.
you authorized it. I didn't send myself down here. You did. You sent me, or your brother did. One of you two.
He
I think it was your brother.
he
I don't have the authority to do something as grand as this.
Actually, we do.
actually, yeah. I I he had orders to let you understand. Um, he had orders to. His orders were to let you handle it. You had a
But I'm
plan.
not a. I'm not
Oh,
a. I'm
I
not
think we've
a.
handled it.
I
I'm
think
not a seneschal. That's what
yes,
they're
but you
there for.
also
We just
seem
cleared the
to.
ground and impressed the locals. Now that we've done our job and
Impressing
got
the
the.
locals. I should have thought of, if you were going to bring the seneschal down, you should have brought the seneschal down.
That's why you don't leave people like me in charge. I'm a fight. I'm an arch militant. I'm not
And you
a.
have put yourself in charge, and yet you seem to have good results. So maybe
Well, yeah, I did. We did impress the locals
I
and
can
so
take. I can try. I can. Adrona has a plan. We can attempt it.
does it involve flamethrowers? We have a lot of those.
She just kind of like sighs. Do you even really want to know why you have flamethrowers?
What isn't improved by 5 flamethrowers?
Have you been that young man, Nolan, I think, has gone to your head. I really think he's got into your head.
What? No. If it was, see, you know that if these plans were my ideas, they'd involve a lot more donuts. But do you see any donuts around here? Not a single donut. So you know these weren't my plans.
And she just kind of sighs. Johann, I don't know why I keep you around, but somehow it seems to work. I am giving you authority to do what you will. If you want a seneschal, you have to pick one of the flamers, and have them agree to, uh, um, have them agree to come back up and risk it. Pick one of them, and I will send you a
Okay,
seneschal.
I, I look at my two companions. Do you think we can pull off this display with just 4 flamethrowers, or do we need all 5?
Um,
What do you guys think?
Why?
Because
Why?
we might replace one of them with the seneschal to
Oh,
do
okay.
it.
Yeah. Well,
replace how?
four flamethrowers is fine.
And they said one of them's one of those preferred. Replace how? Cause
Well, actually, do we really need to? We don't really need to replace them because if we just send the ship back up, because we're gonna have to send the ship back up anyways, why do we have to replace any of them? We'll just have them go up there and pick up some more people.
you're gonna have
And
to
I
fill
look
up the
back at the
back.
group.
Um
Our flamethrowers.
um
But
um
seriously, you're gonna want to. You may want to send an actual team down, a second team of professionals
um.
who deal with
She
the
was the one
government,
that
unless you want me to deal with the government, which I'm more than willing to do.
um. She's kind of like um um.
And I'll guarantee you that we might actually get better donuts out of this because old primitive cultures are much better at creating decent flavors for donuts as opposed to
She just kind
advanced
of
technologies that they come out a little bit more bland and more stale. The icing just doesn't come out quite as
she just
inspired as
Johan,
old
Johan,
cultures
can you think
did.
of something
But
other than donuts for a minute, please?
Wait, is the
I
sheriff still here?
Yeah, and he's listening to this entire conversation
And
as
I'm
well.
I'm thinking donuts is like a big deal for him too, because
I mean, he
he's
kind of.
a cop.
I mean, he
Oh,
probably likes them.
I know I'm stereotyping, all right?
I would say he probably knows how to get something similar to donuts. But he's also like he's tilting his head, like he's trying to figure out what he's supposed to do with this because you agreed to stay within that, and then you are arguing with the captain, and he realizes you're just not behind, and he is does
that
not
we're not
understand
what?
this because he has just authorized a press conference with the High Shaw, and um, you are now freaking um, you know, you apparently don't even have the right people for this.
We
But
do have the right people.
we're
yeah,
very prepared.
sure. But yeah, the captain says I can replace one. Another shuttle would take time. I can replace one. By using a method. That our tech priest has come up with, or we can send a shuttle.
It's just we'll take care of it. Here, we'll take care of it. It's not a big deal. Want to
Johan,
run your whole schedule, your
oh
whole shuttle
sure,
schedule
have
going on. I mean, you'd think you guys would have more than one shuttle for a ship
we
this
have a
big too.
second shuttle. We can send one down. It's just
Well, then why do you need to replace people? Just put people
I
on
think it'd
that
be
shuttle
faster
and
and
send
more
that down.
accurate to do.
Why would it be more accurate? It's the same amount of people who are on that ship. You send the amount of people that can go on that ship. It's not like they're group carrying passengers from one place to another. There's not like you know, one shuttle on one side, one shuttle on the other, and and the
I mean,
and we're
do you
hanging from the
want
middle.
do you want me to send another shuttle?
Yes, please.
Okay. who else do you want on it? Besides, I'm sending obviously my obviously I'm sending
Well, a diplomatic advisor, an economic advisor, someone who can
uh
negotiate the best deal for trading diamonds.
I'll send Wex. I'll send Rollis Wexender. I'll send Weck. Just he'll come
Okay.
down, and I'll send um the iCrop boys. They're
Oh,
smart.
and send someone who could make a statue.
I I don't have what, an artist.
I don't know. I don't make. How would I know? I don't make statues.
People who can make
I
statues are
melt
not artists,
statues. I
Johan.
don't.
This is basic. She just sighs drastically and agrees to send the actual a couple of the seneschals, people who actually are more
Okay.
inclined toward this sort of thing. Um,
Oh, and tell the pilot to be careful. These bricks are not great for ships to land on. They're very unstable.
mm-hmm.
They squish easy.
All right. So, sending down. And we are yes. Yeah. So, yes. So, all right. So the captain is sending. We actually have a lot more people watching now than we did before. So, briefly, hello everyone. I'm Lee. That's other friends on the other side. This side. Sorry. I'll have them introduce themselves again at the end. But basically, we are running Rogue Trader, and we have an astropath, an archmilitant, and we have a tech priest. And the three of them have gone down to a planet that has been kind of forgotten by the Imperium because warp storms for over 1,000 years, and is sort of kind of coming back into the fold. And they're in charge of this, sort of. They put themselves in charge of this.
Yes, we did.
One might say. And now they are, because that's who the players are, basically, as for a meta reason. But they're now
Like to say hi to D-Wagon and Salty Cupcake. I didn't see you in the chat there. I haven't been looking at chat for a little bit,
Yes.
so I apologize for not responding to your comments on my appropriate flamethrower solution.
Oh, yoy. All right. Yeah, the flamethrowers. So yes, you guys have the flamethrowers. You have all 5 since if you want to do your show, it is getting dark. It is starting to get dark, and there are a lot of people. So far, they haven't started rioting or anything. They're being relatively, the crowds are being relatively well behaved. But they are starting to get kind of big. There are a lot of people.
So Johan will address the crowd. Be like, "Would you like to be entertained?"
And like about half of them, yeah.
And then he's
Back.
like, "No, do you want to be entertained?" And he puts his ear,
Okay, you can get about 3/4 of them say, yeah.
Good enough.
They're all a little confused, and
And I'll point to I'll give a little billing signal to the to the flamers to do their thing.
yeah, and they practiced. You made them practice this. It goes up, and then they turn in like a circle, like a march formation drill, with the flamers going up in the air, and so it kind of like spins. It's nothing fancy. They aren't performers, but
Yeah,
they do send out gouts of flame, and in cool formations in a way that does not directly at any of the civilians, and they are mildly entertaining.
they're mildly.
I mean, and yes, these guys who have never seen flamethrowers are kind of way more impressed, because this is freaking flamethrowers. They've never seen anything like this. A lot of them are, especially the kids, are just enthralled.
Well, it's the kids. We're trying to build towards the future, and it's through the children. It's all about the children.
But yeah, the everyone is very impressed. It is impressive. Roll a charm test. Just roll a charm test.
Charm test. Ooh, 22. No,
Just wait, 2?
22.
22. Okay, still. Yeah, it's working. Whatever kind of homegrown, um, uh, um, shenanigans you have are working. And they bring, the sheriff just asked you, are you sending another shuttle down? Am I understanding this correctly? Are there more of you coming?
Yes.
All right. And so he's, tell your people to go here. And he kind of points. And then he starts pushing the barricades. He talks to his people. They start bringing barricades out, like actual barricades, and they're moving them out to enough room to accommodate a shuttle because they're like,
Okay.
they're thinking ahead.
Okay.
And
So I'll relate this information to
right.
the incoming shuttle.
Yep. So the flyer comes down. I should use the flyer. Same theory, but and it does come and it lands right.
I'm gonna look back at my companion and be like, their entrance is not going to be anywhere near as impressive as ours was.
Well, we don't want them to have stages.
I mean, yeah, they don't have a fog machine or a anything. They just kind of plop down, and it's a slightly smaller shuttle. And they have, Sergeant Fairbank, you have 2. So you have 2 soldiers.
Okay.
Okay, got him. So the shuttle comes down. It's got the 3 Senate shawl types. They got 3 Senate shawl types. You got you got medic. You have what's her name? I have a list of all the NPCs because Andre Colton. So you have Andre. You got Andre, and then you have
Andre 40,000.
No, just Colton. He's just a med tech. And he was born on this ship actually. Fairly young. He's only 20 years old, and he was born on this ship.
Don't care. Don't care. Don't want to hear his.
I know you don't care, but
I mean, if he starts doing stuff, sure, but we don't need his backstory. If
yeah, and you have a handful of the others. You have Sergeant Fairbank and a couple of others. Sergeant Fairbank and that's +1, basically a slightly smaller shuttle. So they only have Sergeant Fairbank and someone else who can pilot, and they're sitting down, and they have two bodyguards, 3 of them, and the medic with them.
Okay.
And yeah. So
we can also impress the locals by our advanced medicine. We can cure.
If any of them were hurt, or
I mean, they might have like cancer or need broken bones and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if there were certain things that you could probably have better treatment for, or you could have actually, let me check something. Yes, they might not have insulin. That might be a thing they don't have. So, you might be able to cure something uncurable with that for them. So that's fun. But yeah, you might be able to do that.
And somewhere out there in a different galaxy, there's a bunch of guys from the Federation like, you're totally not supposed to be doing that to another civilization.
The Prime. Okay, sorry, I have problems with the Prime Directive. And the theory behind the Prime Directive is that humans could not help but colonize. Like it speaks to an inherent. There's no reason that a civilization without access to other civilizations is inherently better off. yeah, it's like it would be before, but they're not inherently better off, and that just shows that basically it's humans will use the power dynamic to their advantage to be colonial assholes. Like humans could be better than that in the future. Like you really have so little faith in humanity that you're gonna be the worst version of first contact possible. That
Yeah, I would. I'd believe that.
I, mm,
Look at what we're doing right here.
that's fair. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, we're not exactly setting the best example, but
true. Okay, but true. 40k, but your goal is not.
or are we?
Well, actually, true. But the goal of 40k is make them. You are actually trying to manipulate them in your favor and make sure that they are loyal to the emperor at all costs. You're trying to be maybe not bad guys, but there is a certain amount of intention manipulation going on. Here, so note it is 1 o'clock. But we usually end right at 1 o'clock, but we can keep going for a little bit. Yeah.
I can go on a little bit longer, but not much longer.
All right. So we should 1:15 would be a good wrap up. 1:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 115, 120 ish.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a little longer. Excellent. But yes, this is okay. So they sat down. Yeah, and the High Shah does eventually come, and you can see that they have created like a motorcade, almost, like an open air motorcade, and you have a couple of troops marching alongside. It's very short, and but it is fancy, and you can tell that the High Shah is trying to, and his troops do have these ridiculous uniforms, this very yeah, they have very, very bright, bright blue uniforms, with these very, very distinctive colors, and they have these hats that have big feathers coming out of them. The soldiers do, and the High Shah has like 4 feathers on his hat, and it's this big jewel, and just and like other jeweled pins holding it together, like kind of a turban. He's got just the intensest, fanciest.
That is a brave choice, sir.
Well, yeah, as the leader, has to have the coolest hat. That's like, there is a tradition.
Well, I figured he was doing it to make himself the biggest target so that he could spare his other. I mean, because with a hat like that, you would be seen for like miles.
That's me, Rouge. But
I mean, you'd make it obvious you were the leader, and you'd have with the with the thing in the front and all the feathers pointing like, hit right here, right here.
Mean, yeah, there is a point of the leaders being visible, and yes, that does make you more of a target, but it also is a power play. There is reasonable, like, and that lets your soldiers know that they have to obey you on the battlefield. That's why officers. There are different theories in warfare to whether you want your officers to be very obvious or not. Depends on schools of thought. There are different schools of thought on this one.
Well, if you're using melee, sure, but if you're using ranged,
well, that the tradition of it becoming, as warfare evolved, to have better and better range options, then it becomes a double-edged sword more to have your leader be obvious.
I think less because you're using ranged options. It wouldn't really be much of a double-edged sword. So that'd be melee.
Okay, it's a metaphor. Let's. Oh no. Ugh. But yes, they with fancy feathers. Okay, so. But yeah, and he has this bright, like he has a uniform, and then he has orange robes over it and bright blue, just these kind of orange overlay vestment robe, like very, very obvious. And he does have an Aquila, 2 Aquila pins clipped to the shoulders, and he is very much decked out. And he comes up, sweeps up onto the stage, and everyone just kind of claps a little bit because he's their grand leader. and everyone's kind of half staring at you and half staring at him. And what do you? Because you have the three who come out of the shuttle. They come over to you, and they look at you, and he said, "I presume the stage is where we're going to have our negotiations."
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Okay.
I look over at, Johan looks over at at their leader, and he's like, "When is a team that has orange and blue? They haven't won anything in a long time. You need to wear like garnet and red, garnet and gold for
Okay.
your color."
Vague college football reference. Gonna have to get it stopped right there.
I actually that I was thinking the Nets, but okay. But yes, the he just blinks because they also have sports teams, but none of the sports teams are allowed to wear blue and orange because those are the Shaw's colors.
That's right. The best colors.
Yeah, the high.
Yeah, he's looking the best of the best there.
Yeah, so the high. He just blinks, and rolls his eyes and says, "Are you going to send someone up to speak with High Shah or not?"
Yes.
So they do wheel around a staircase, and as soon as the High Shah is settled, you're allowed to go. They can send one or two of you up. Do any of you want to go up? There's 3 spots up on the pedestal. You have 3. You have Weck.
Johan's gonna jump.
Is the Seneschal, who's definitely going to go up. The other 2 are skilled negotiators, but could be swapped out for one of you guys if you want.
Johan's gonna do he's gonna try to look at the top of the stage, and if he has to, he's gonna do a little jump, see if he can, there, see if they've got a craft service table up there.
With no.
So they don't have any food and drinks and stuff like that.
No,
Oh,
that's
okay.
not
Then he's like,
the
yeah, no, I'm not. I don't want to go up there. That looks
They
boring.
probably will bring something, but they're not going to go up on the stage.
Either of you two gonna go up there? Interested in
Yeah. Are either of you interested in going up on the stage?
I mean, Phoenix, you might be useful up there. You can go up there and possibly get insight into
And
the Shah's intentions.
they're also it's true. You could also do that from the base of the stage. Yeah. There are also he has 2 guards standing on his side, so you can send guards up. You can go if you're willing to stand. Send more than 2. There are 3 up, so you have to send at least 3 to sit.
I won't take a seat, but I'll head up there. And my intention isn't to speak so much, but I will open up a mind link between the 3 that do sit, as well as myself and one other. I can do up to 5.
Okay. Very good. So you're gonna go up there for the mind link. Good to know.
I mean, I can move down here too, but if I'm closer than if I have to do any other shenanigans, then I'd be right
so you're
there.
gonna kind of stand just with because they already have one of their Sergeant Verbank is standing kind of like as a security guard pose, so you're gonna stand next to her.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, so they've got the 2 of you up there. 2 seats left. Either of you guys want to go up, or should you send the 2?
I'll just stay with these 2.
All right. Yeah, so they send the 2 Crop Boys up. And Jantine, you want to go up?
Nah, I mean, I don't know if it would be beneficial for us. I'll let the diplomats go.
Okay, so they have that, and then they have a couple of the soldiers come up too and stand. Yeah. So you guys, okay, they're gonna do a thingamabob too, but yeah. All right, so they start with the Shah does introduce himself. Now here's a funny thing: the Shah is not the Shah of the entire planet. The High Shah is not, in fact, the Shah of the entire planet. He only controls, depending on how you parse it, 5 nations or one big one with 4 sub and the main one, depending on how you count countries, and it is yeah.
Okay. So, does he have a
Says
lot of the
he
diamonds
says the
there?
alliance. He says, um, he and welcomes you, and on behalf of the planet, um, uh, and on those unaligned on the planet who are also pay tribute. So, yeah, he says on behalf of our Radiant Nation, on behalf of our satellite nations, and on behalf of the other unaligned nations who also pay tribute to the Emperor, and are for the whole of Aplassia. So, and he says he greets you, and yeah, but he asks what you're interested in, and Finnick, you're putting the link up, right? Between that.
And you say it's who are the three that are sitting? There's a seneschal and then two other guards.
Two others, yes, who are there? There's the seneschal. There's the two, like a backup seneschal kind of, and his little brother who's like apprentice almost, like, you know, Rolex Wexender is like the main seneschal of the ship. The other two are the high diplomat, do similar things, but are more like apprentice to him, sort of subordinate apprentices, sort of deal. And then you have the Sergeant Verbank as the main guard, and then you have a couple of other, basically your guys, the guys you brought down, but as soldiers, just as a, show of force. They're not doing anything other than standing there and looking intimidating and proving, yes, we have, don't try anything, we have soldiers. So, I'm guessing you're catching those three, and you, that's four.
Yep, those three, myself, and then let's bring Johan in here in case he wants to give any insight and nudge along as the talks progress.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
So,
I rolled a 10. That's a lot of degrees of success.
Yeah, that's a lot of degrees of success. Okay, yeah, it's fine. You're just... Everyone's linked in. Okay. So you hear... Are we sure this is a good idea having... Yeah, so you can hear our thoughts?
That's right. If we need to strategize with the meeting a little bit, make sure you can do it in your mind. We can be a lot more coordinated than they can give us credit for.
Oh, that is actually quite clever, and you can do this under any circumstances?
I can do that right now.
I might need to speak on this further for other circumstances. I did not realize.
Keep in mind, there is a range to it. If you go beyond 30 kilometers, you won't be able to hear us anymore.
I think for now, we're safe. Good to know. 30 kilometers of you, specifically.
Of me.
Noted. All right. I don't think we're going anywhere near that. Yeah. So, are we... I'm thinking we're going to ask for first a trade deal and a tribute, and then possibly to ask them if they're going to be under the banner. And we're going to try a better, closer uniting of the planets. We're going to ask them what other unaligned powers there are and how we can best align them. I think that's a good start, yes?
Yep. Sounds good.
All right.
Okay. So, and you notice, Ralph Wexender is, what's his deal? I'm trying to remember. He is old. He is at least a couple hundred years old and has been getting rejuvenate treatments. He is an old hat at this. He's an expert. He was assigned to the ship, along with Finnick, actually. You would know this. So you actually kind of know him. And he probably has been in your mind melds before.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was put in with the original Captain Elmshell along with Finnick as, here, I'm setting you up with a ship. His daughter, I'm setting you up with a ship and your own warrant of trade. Make sure you have a good seneschal and make sure you at least have one astropath so we can keep in contact. And that's how the three of them ended up there. But and then other members of the crew sort of accrued over the months of and years of various rogue trader shenanigans.
The crew accrued.
Yeah. But yes, I have lore for the ship, which is exactly, to be fair, why I ended up with setting up this game is because I set up creating lore for the ship and character sheets for all these characters and their interactions, and then Jeff, aka Sig, who's in the middle playing Johan, was like, "You have to make this a game. Like, you have to do something with this other than just."
Exactly.
And so I was like, "Okay, do you guys want to play? Here's the characters. You want to pick one and be them." And then I have some good friends and others as well who aren't here today, but might be otherwise. We gather once a month for this shenanigans. But yeah, so they set out. What you find out is that there are 10 distinct political nations. 5 of them are under the control of the High Shah. The other 5 are... 2 of them are in a weird war state where one claims that they control both and the other say they only control half. They've got... So, 5 with the High Shah. So, yeah. High Shah controls. Then they have 2 who are in that war state. And then the other 3 are just kind of small, minor nations. They all have... none of them are actively at war. And when the other Captain Helmshell came, they had... all agreed that they were under Imperial control. And the High Shah... They did all agree that the High Shah would have diplomatic right to negotiation. But not necessarily planetary governorship. He doesn't speak for them. But he does have first right of negotiation with any off-planet people. So, yeah. And that's why they sent you... the satellite office that you talked to originally is actually up north in one of the subsidiary kingdoms of the High Shah. That's where they set up the satellite office. And eventually you do get, like... a tap on the shoulder. Johan, you feel a tap on your shoulder.
Okay.
And you turn around, and there is a priest of the ecclesiarchy behind you. And he said, you're representing one of the other captains, Helmshell.
I just look at him. Okay.
You should have informed me.
And who is this again?
He is, let's see, Arbital al-Muhammad. He is a priest, and he was set here specifically. He's sort of like the inside guy for the rogue traders who came here first. For Captain Helmshell's brother, he's kind of their like he's keeping an eye on things.
Sure. Unfortunately, the commander did not give us very much information as we were heading down or guidance. So I was unaware of who exactly to contact. And I apologize for that.
As a side note for the GM, they did tell you that...
I did say what I was saying was truthful. I'm just saying that's what I'm telling you.
Roll a deceive. A deceive test, as it were.
Well, it is a skill I have, so I don't know if... hold on a second. Do I get a bonus for that or not? Is there a bonus to my check for that, or does that just allow me to do that?
It allows you to roll a check. I believe it gives you... I've been saying it gives you a plus 10. I'm not sure if that's rules as written, but that's rules as I've been enforcing them. Think of it as a house rule. You get a plus 10.
Okay, and that's... What is that added to? Fellowship?
Yes. Fellowship.
40 is what I got.
Okay. And your fellowship is 43, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think he gets an opposed test for this. So let me find a good D100.
If he's trying to like see if he can determine whether it's a lie or whether it's scrutiny.
Yeah, be scrutiny, and yeah, either way that fails because that's a bad roll. Yeah, so be scrutiny, and yep, that's not gonna help him. So yeah, he's nods. I would have assumed that the satellite would have intercepted you. I'll have to speak with them.
Well, the satellite did intercept us, but it did it. You've seen how primitive they've only got one satellite,
Yes, I'm aware. There was none before.
and then you
Captain Marshall
and
put them
we're
out as
yes. Well, we'll definitely need to work on the messaging with that in the future, but everything should be under control now, right?
yes. Do you intend to put more satellites?
We could. Would you like more satellites? Do you need more?
Kind of think about it. It depends. I don't think we need a tithe right away, but we will need to eventually raise a tithe army.
Well, here's the thing. With all these diamonds here, you we can probably get quite a few satellites for you guys.
There is that. Is that what your intention is? Run the diamond trade?
Hmm.
They are valuable on certain planets, I have heard.
Yes, diamonds are quite useful for medical facilities and for weapon manufacturers. So
Industry for semiconductors. That's
Yeah.
broad range of uses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It is 1:20, so what I'm going to say is I'm going to put a pin in this, and... Alright.
a diamond pin.
I mean, yeah. You could also... but yes, you are... Alright, Incorrect Brothers, I'm putting down that they are here. You guys are settled in. So, next
Yep.
we'll pick a date in July, and we will gather ourselves together, and we will, depending on who we can get to come down, we might, who can get as players, we might... Actually, no, because we can test out the Majiggy, I have a plan for how to get other people down, but, so other people might come down, but for now...
Donuts, right? Involves donuts?
Well, here's the thing. Do you guys want to go on a donut hunt? And see if there are donuts on this planet?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a. I don't understand why the question was even asked.
Of course you do. Alright, so you can ask around and find donuts. I will, that is next. You will looking for bakeries. That is your next, big task. But for now, negotiations are ongoing. And for now, so thank you all, and even in chat, we have a few people in chat, like actual, and I'm sorry about the sound thing. So if we go back to watch the VOD, the first 10 minutes will be silent, so that's fun. But thank you all for being your patience and watching and hanging out. I would suggest following the channel because it's cool. Let me put the Majiggy what's it. Okay. Nope, that didn't work. Okay. No. In the meantime, yeah, alright, so it doesn't work. Let me just check something. Are none of it's that. Okay. Yeah, none of my commands are working. Okay, so, but yeah, I would highly suggest following the channel. I would like to give our players a chance to introduce themselves one more time. Say hi to the people of the chat, who we actually have people in chat. And
We did. They all just left.
yeah, that's fair.
Like, I don't want to know about those guys. I'm out of here.
Yeah, but you can introduce yourself if you want, especially because yeah, There we go. I don't know why it automatically does that. I fixed it though. But yes, so what? Start with the exact same order as last time. Is there anything you want to tell us, the people of Twitch?
No, I'm nobody. I'm just schmuck from southern Minnesota playing Finnick. So
You're cool and awesome, and don't forget that. Yeah, and Sig.
Hi, I'm Sigmund. Also, as I introduce myself, my real name's Jeff. I'm a 3D artist and writer,
Mm-hmm.
and I just got back from my tour in Australia with a ska band where I was a roadie for 4 months.
Mm.
So I just got back in time to do some road trading.
Sounds very cool. I put the link in the Majiggy What's It. Okay, and down to the very last but not least.
Yep. I am playing Janthine, Tech Priest. Very new to Rogue Trader, but learning as I go.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. I'm Lee, the NB Extraordinaire, random friend, and it's my channel. Thank you for all watching. We should raid somebody. Let me see. I know Trollord Games is doing Guild Superior. Hang on. No, Guild Superior is on. We're raiding Guild Superior. I think Trollord Games already left finished there. We're raiding Guild Superior. They're doing Whisper Woods. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, they got Fleeg and they got Ye Boy Big on too. Yeah, they got some cool people on. We're going to raid Guild Superior, who are very good friends of the channel. If you're following the channel, you can use raid emotes. I have little emojis for raids that are orange and green, and you can't really read them, but they're really cool. So we're gonna raid them. And everybody say hi. Thank you all so much. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Okay, and I will see you all in on Tuesday, if not before. I will say that. I know I missed Thursday's stream. I apologize for that. Boom. Alright, take care of yourselves. And wait. We have to wait 7 seconds for the Majiggy thingy to do the whatchamacallit. But doom.
JD thingy with the
Yeah, and then I hit